What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 2025 La Mirada Open presented by Innova Disc Golf. This is the MP40 lead card final round back nine coverage. And once again, this is the third event in the 2025 California Disc Golf Series hosted by Andrew Salazar and Ryan Riley. We are still here at the La Mirada Disc Golf Course in La Mirada, California. The weather has been gorgeous all weekend. Today, sunny and just a light breeze. This is the ideal disc golf conditions. Excited to see our MP40 competitors throw down on the back nine of this amazing course. And here's our current leaderboard. David Jordan Botato still in the lead at a -10. Brian Thatcher still 8 strokes back, -2. Michael Medlock has moved up the leaderboard from 5th to a tie for 3rd place. And Travis Cutler still holding off the chase card. Kicking off the back nine with a 705-foot par 4. This is a really fun hole. Essentially, the fairway is split into 2 parts. This gutter marks the end of the first part of the fairway, and then there will be a large swath of OB, and then a pretty large island green. Very difficult to reach on the first shot. These guys are all going to lay up just shy of the gutter, and then just a hyzer shot around the pine trees to the pin. And teeing off first on hole 10, Brian Thatcher. Let's see how he tackles this hole. Brian's going to take the big spike hyzer out around to the right. Just got to get around these trees and spike in. And he does, probably about 20 to 30 feet from that gutter. Michael Medlock, he's going to take the straight line with what looks like a mid-range. And he lands down there near Brian. Dave opts to go out and around. He can clear those trees, no problem. Got to be careful not to get too far left here. You can get pinched off, but he should have a pretty good look to the basket from there. Travis Cutler. He's also going to go on the left side. A little bit of a flex line, and that should settle up in this collection zone with the rest of his card mates. And Derek Curdy, he's going to take the forehand approach. Got to be careful not to get in those trees on the left. That can be a real damper to your game. He plays this one nicely. Comes up a little shy of the gutter, but he'll actually have the best look at the basket from there. And Derek will be up first. He takes this one out nice and wide, but it's got to get down. It is really easy to fade out OB left on this upshot. And he curls up just in time. Now Brian's upshot. This one was hard to follow, but he played it a little too tight, got into these trees, and dropped straight down out of bounds. Michael's going to try to get this out wider. Hopefully he learned from Brian's mistakes. He does get out and around the trees, but unfortunately fades just back out of bounds. Travis, taking a note from his card mates, just plays a mid up the middle, keeps it in bounds, and he should have a circle 2 look for the birdie. And Dave, gonna just play the big hyzer. Takes it nice and wide, gets all the distance, and drops it about 15 feet from the basket. Derek throwing his third. Takes a little run at it, but it's a little too far left, not going to connect. He'll take his par. And Brian's going to make a bid to save his par. Looked good, doesn't quite get the distance right. Travis for his birdie. Just a little low left. Michael to save his par. Also low, and that's a disappointing bogey. Derek's going to tap in for his par. Dave to get another stroke on his card mates. And he cashes it. Couple of tap-ins. And on to hole 11. 300 feet, par 3, one of the two shortest on the course. Got to get through or around this little tree right in front of the tee pad and then across this gutter to get in bounds. A little speed control is necessary to make sure you don't go long over this little hill. Relatively easy hole, feels like a must get. Dave goes right up the gut. This is going to skip up and settle. And that should be an easy birdie for him. Travis opts to go out around to the right side, something a little faster, skips up the hill. This needs to sit. And it curls up. He'll have about a 30-footer for his birdie. Derek makes it through the gap. It's fading out a little left, and he'll have a tricky downhill putt. Brian also through the middle of the tree. Almost skips it into the basket. Great shot. And Michael up the middle as well. This one needs a skip. And kind of doesn't get it. So much better than yesterday's card. But all these guys will have a birdie look. Derek will be up first. Oh, and he releases this super high, sails the basket, and that's even going to be a tough comebacker. Travis, a hair too low. We've been seeing a little bit of that out of him today. I'm sure he is kicking himself for that one. Derek also low on his comebacker. He's going to have to settle for a bogey. He actually dropped it in off a camera. We didn't capture it, but he's not going to be happy about that. And Michael manages to sink his birdie putt. That's a nice bounce back after the bogey on the last one. Brian cashes in for birdie as well. And Dave with a little tap in for his birdie.
Bird, you get through. All right, we did good on that hole. Good thing you brought your bag.
On to hole 12, 655 feet, par 4. Everything we're flying over right now is out of bounds. You have to get across this gutter and then stay left of this gutter the whole time. The tree up here on the right is a mandatory left, just protecting the next tee pad. Narrow little island green, the gutter on the right and the curb on the left are out of bounds, and the pin is going to be back here deep. Dave's looking to show off his distance and send this one all the way down there. Gets it kind of high and on hyzer. That's going to be a lot farther up the hill than he'd like to be. Brian plays it a little bit lower, and this is fading back. It's going to skip into a really nice spot. Michael also playing it a little bit lower, and this one's gliding out there real nice, gonna curl up, and he is also in a great spot to approach the green. Travis, very similar looking shot, and he'll land in about the same area. Derek gives this one a little bit of a flex, and that prevents it from fading out quite as far as the other guys, but roughly going to be the same distance. Dave's up first. This is a really tricky approach shot. It's a narrow green. You have to give it enough power, but make sure it doesn't fade out left across that curb. It takes a lot of touch. And it looks like Dave has executed it perfectly. Goes a little long, but gets a nice rebound off of the curb and stays in bounds. Travis is going to go with the forehand. There's a little bit more room out to the right of the basket, which makes this a little bit of a safer approach. And he judges that one perfectly, parks it in the bullseye.
Beautiful.
Derek is also going to go forehand, which is kind of the option from this point. Ooh, and he really misreleased that one and unfortunately skips right into the OB. That's a tough break for Derek. Not sure what happened there. Brian also going forehand. Puts just the right amount of touch on it, and he lays it up right by the pin. Michael with the best lie off the tee. Nice little backhand chip shot. Goes just a hair long, but he should have no problem making his birdie. And Derek throwing 4. This is a really nervy approach shot after you've gone OB. He manages to keep it in and just about 20 feet long of the basket. He'll be first up to save bogey. Oh, and he drops that one low too. Looks like he's just lost his focus this hole, and that is really unfortunate. Dave racks up another birdie. That will be 3 in a row for him. Brian capitalizing, takes his birdie. And Michael with another birdie. So 4 birdies on the card and a really unfortunate double bogey for Derek. And Travis to finish up. 2 under for the card, not too bad. Here we go, hole 13, 515-foot par 4. Stay right of that gutter, dog leg left around this corner. Obviously, everything over the fence is out of bounds. A lot of tight trees and a low ceiling, pretty difficult to get through. The idea is just to get out to the corner or just around, leave it pretty wide, and hope that you have a decently clear route into the basket. Dave a little too high, gets into these branches and gets knocked down early. Brian making the same mistake, getting into the branches, and doesn't get the full distance that he wanted. Michael plays this one perfectly. Nice big skip around the corner, and hopefully he's got an unobstructed approach to the basket from there. Travis lays it out a little bit wider, hits the tree, and he may also have a tough time getting up and down from there. And Derek lays this one out there in the middle, gets around the corner, and he's going to like that. So Dave, shortest drive of the bunch for a change, and he is going out and around wide, get a nice flare skip, and that's about as good as you can do from there. He'll have about 40 feet to the basket, might still be able to save his birdie. Travis really got pinched. This is a tough angle. He opts to go out and around, gets into some branches, and he'll likely have to settle for a par on this one. Brian plays this one really inside with a lot of hyzer, gets a lot of skip, and he'll probably be about 25 or 30 shy. Derek going to go forehand around this left route and kind of low out the hand, gets a big flare skip, hangs out over the fence line, but lands safe. He too will have about a 20-footer for birdie. And Michael, best drive of the bunch, just a nice little chip shot. and that's gold.
Nice up.
Travis just needs to lay this in there softly. That street comes up pretty quick, and he does so perfectly. Dave for a long birdie bid, probably about 60 feet. And comes up a little shy. Brian a little bit obstructed. Tries to hyzer it around, just a little bit short. Solid bid. Derek lining up his 25-footer for his birdie. A little wobbly out of the hand and just misses the mark. And that's a bummer. He could have used that after the double on the last hole. So a bunch of pars, and then we'll get to the only birdie on the card. Medlock taking a stroke on the rest of his card mates, and that's 2 in a row now for him. Travis will tap in, and we will move on to hole 14. 500 feet, par 4. Got to get up the hill through this smattering of trees. Ideal shot lands right around here. And then over the crest of the hill, and the basket will be just to the right of this tree here. This is a very scoreable hole, just got to get a good drive. And Michael gets this one out there a little bit high. This is in danger of getting into some branches, which it does. Leaves him a little shy of where he wants to be. Dave's going to go for the roller. And this one turns over a little quickly, but he's at the top of the hill, and he will have a lane to get to the basket from there. Brian going out to the left with a nice flip-up flex line. And that'll settle up nice. Probably won't be able to see the basket from there, but he should have a unobstructed approach. Derek also going for the roller. This one is on a much better line, and if it can just get turned over and get up this hill, that's going to be great. Yeah, and he's going to like that. He may even be able to see the basket from there. And Travis going to go with the forehand. That's good distance. A little bit of a tough approach to the basket from there, but it's doable. Michael's approach hits a tree and skitters out to the top of the hill, and he's just going to have to pitch up from there. There's Travis from roughly the same spot as Michael. And he's going to get through clean, gets a skip, and oh no, really bad reaction off of the hillside, and this is rolling all the way down to the sidewalk and is going to be out of bounds. That is a tough break. Derek taking his second from the ideal location. It's a nice chip shot. He slides it into the bullseye. He will most likely have a birdie. Brian with a little forehand. This is the safer play on this hillside. And that one curls up at about 10 feet. He should have a birdie, no problem. Dave from way up on the hill. He's going to try and go up and over, and just gets into those branches and gets dropped about 40 feet short, and that is not the birdie look that you want. And Michael just keeps connecting with these trees. He's going to have to make a scary 35-foot putt to save the par. and he doesn't want anything to do with that. He lays up and he'll take his bogey. Dave running the birdie and just chains out right side. And now this has got to sit down. Okay, it does. He ought to be able to make that comebacker. Now Travis to save his par after that really unfortunate roll. Oh, and he likes it. He's running it in, and it's good. Great par save. Dave for his comeback par. Oh, and that is uncharacteristic, so he's going to take a bogey on this hole. And Brian just a short tap in for his birdie. Makes good. Derek even shorter for his birdie. Also brings one up. These other two will clean up. And on to the next hole. Hole 15, 655 feet, par 4. Sidewalk and street left is OB, parking lot right is OB. Gotta make this mandatory left at the light pole. Get up through this grouping of trees. Cross this relatively open fairway all the way to this back corner. Just gotta make sure you don't juice it too hard and get out into the street long or left. Otherwise, this is a pretty straightforward par 4. Should be pretty scoreable for these guys. Brian gonna start us off. And this one's high out of the hand. Gets into the branches. Gets kicked left, but does not get all the way out of bounds, and he's pretty lucky. Derek playing the safer forehand route. And I've never seen this before. Following the sidewalk all the way down and skipping back in bounds. That's a great play.
It's better than yesterday, though. That's what you're practicing.
Travis puts this one on a little anhyzer. Just needs to fade back before it gets to the mandatory. It does, and he got clear of those trees. He'll have a nice open look to the green. Michael, ooh, this one comes out low and gets on edge and rolls right out into the street. And Dave is thinking eagle. He's going to see how far he can get a roller out there. And he doesn't get this one over enough. It's going to take a left turn right out into the street. But he'll be pretty far up the fairway, and he'll have a good chance to save the par at least. Michael just wants to get up through this grouping of trees so he can have a clean look into the green. It's lifting. Oh, and it gets a terrible kick off the branch. Goes out of bounds, but fortunately for him, curls back in, and he narrowly avoids taking a second penalty stroke on this hole. Derek's gunning for the green on this one. Also puts it too high. Also gets into a branch and a scary little roll out to the left. But that'll curl up, and he should at least be able to get up and down for his par. Michael plays this one a little bit lower. And he gets this one up on the green. He'll be looking at saving bogey from about 20 feet. And Brian in great position to attack this green. Does so, and he'll be putting for birdie from edge of circle 1. Travis is third, just wants to get this up in the circle and take his par. And yeah, this looks great. And Dave, yeah, like I said, really far up the fairway, a little obstructed, but he has a good chance of getting it up there and saving his par. Takes it out wide. And it's fading back. And yeah, that should be a putt. Derek's third, just chipping it up to the basket. And here's Michael a little bit farther out than I thought. He really wants this one. And just high out of the hand. That's going to be a double for him. Brian, wasting no time, sinks his second birdie in a row. Travis to match. Let's see if Dave can save his par from 20 feet. Yep, no problem. And Michael doesn't connect on the 12-footer. He is going to take a triple on this hole, and that can really just tank your spirits. We'll have to see if he can course correct in the last 3 holes. On to hole 16, par 4, 445 feet, the dreaded double mandatory. First got to get through this gap, OB left, OB right, got to stay in the fairway, then make it through this second set of mandatories, that tree and the light pole on the right, to a basket on this narrowing fairway and very fast green. Big numbers are certainly possible here. Brian out of the hand a little early, but gets a nice reaction off the branches and drops down just between the 2 mando trees. Travis showing us how it's done. And this one's going to settle in a great spot to attack the green. Derek also makes it through the mandatories. This one's got to get left, and it's a pretty stable disc, so it does, and he is in an even better spot than Travis. And Dave told me before this drive that he is going to try to make it through both double mandatories here. I guess that's the kind of thing you do when you have a 7-stroke lead. We'll see what happens. A big flare skip, but that comes up quite a bit short and filters out of bounds. Michael plays this one very well. Gets up around the corner and curls up right next to Derek's drive. Brian's just trying to get this one up in position to get through the next set of double mandatories. And he leaves it in a great spot. And Derek, oh, this one is wide right and needs to come back, and luckily skids to a stop right in front of the mandatory there. Travis playing a little gentle turnover, and this is going to slide up into circle 1. Michael going the other route, and this one needs to slow down. It does. He'll have a birdie putt from about 25 feet. Here's Dave, got to play the little forehand turnover. And gets a rotten kick and skitters out of bounds. So he's taking extra strokes on this hole. Brian with a nice, easy pitch up. Just slides a little long, but should be an easy par comebacker. Derek for his birdie. Kind of half-hearted. He'll likely also take par. And Michael leaves this one low. He too will have to settle for par. Travis knocking in the only birdie of the group.
Guys, right here? Yeah.
And for the bogey save, no problem for Dave. Kind of incredible considering he took 2 penalty strokes on that hole. Brian gonna step off this one, wait for some cars to go by, and he'll sink his par. Couple more pars for these guys. And moving on. Hole 17, 375-foot par 3 mandatory left of this light pole. Left of the fence is out of bounds. Sidewalk and parking lot on the right are also out of bounds. And sidewalk behind the basket also out of bounds. Fun but tricky little hole. You could call it a bonus birdie. This one isn't quite as easy as it looks. Travis, nice turnover out of the hand. This one's got great glide. And that is just about exactly what you want. Brian looks like he didn't quite turn this over as much as he would like to. He'll stay in bounds, but he'll be up on the hill about 45 feet or so. Derek also doesn't get this one turned over. And that parking lot on the right really gets in your head and makes it hard to give this one as much anhyzer as you need. Michael throws something a little less stable, just pumps this one out there straight, and that'll be online, if a little bit short. Dave is going to give this plenty of power, flex line over the hill, and he will likely be closest of the bunch. Brian just going to lay this one up, doesn't want to flirt with that OB. Same goes for Travis. Let's see if Derek gives this a run. Doesn't want anything to do with it. The elevated basket makes it a little bit more risky. As we can see with Michael's birdie putt, not a very convincing bid, just clearly didn't want to put too much on it and go out of bounds long. Let's see if Dave can nab the birdie here. On the stripe, no problem, and that's a nice bounce back after his bogey on the last one.
Yeah, make it for me. Hit the cage and roll right back to the yard.
Michael sinks his par. The other three guys will tap in their pars. And move on to the final hole of the course. Second par 5, 925 feet. Got to go up this lane. Left of the fence is out of bounds. There's an OB line tight on the right. This mandatory on the right is not in play, but the OB line right is pretty tight to that tree before it continues on straight down into this open grass area. Sidewalk plays as a river. Everything right of that gutter and sidewalk is out of bounds, and there will be another OB line added on the left side of this fairway after you cross the sidewalk, leading up to this double mandatory, which then leaves about 50 feet to this basket with OB long and right. Birdie on this hole would be very impressive, and in fact, Brian Thatcher got the birdie yesterday, only one in the division.
Oh, you got it. Thanks for easing up on me. That was a fun round. Yeah, that was fun.
Dave will lead us off. Plays this one perfectly, gets way around the corner and partway down the hill. Looks like he's going to have an opportunity to go for the birdie. Travis plays this one out nice, gets all the way around the corner as well, up close to that fence line. Hopefully he won't be too tight on the fence, restricting his run up for his second. Now Brian lets this one go a little late. He might be flirting with that out of bounds line, but it fades back and it is safe. Derek plays a flex line. It's going right for that tree. Got a break, and it does just in time. Gets around the corner. He's in good position. And now Michael, very similar line, a little bit lower, and he gets into that tree. He's got a lot of work left. Yeah, as we can see here, he is right up on this tree. He's got to go stand still and try not to smack the tree on his backswing. That can really affect your shot. He got some good distance there, but surely a lot shorter and farther left than he wants to be. Now Derek kind of tight to this fence, but he should have enough room for a full swing. And he gets this one out there kind of high, and it hyzers back, and he's going to be up there by Michael. Travis also going kind of spike hyzer, probably just trying to check up short of the sidewalk, take that OB left out of the equation. And yeah, this is a good spot. He'll be able to attack that double mandatory from there. Brian is definitely going to try to get across the sidewalk. And just barely does, but from there it's definitely doable to get up and down for the birdie. And Dave with an excellent drive. He might actually be trying to make this double mandatory. Not quite, but he gets all the way up the hill. And now Michael throwing his third. He's going to try and get some distance up the hill here. Oh no, he gets over on that one. That sails straight out of bounds, and he'll be playing his fifth from down by the gutter there. Derek playing the forehand. This just needs to fade back, and it does, and that is a nice safe play. He should be able to get up and down for par pretty easily. Travis following suit, not going to challenge those mandatories, just going to lay it up. And Michael probably thinking he needs to go for this at this point. And gets over on it again, and this time misses the mandatory. This is going to be a big number for Michael, unfortunately. Brian, little forehand up to the green, should be in putting range. Dave has a nice easy chip shot to get up and down for his birdie. Puts it in the circle. Travis and Derek both pitch up for their likely pars. And here Brian for birdie. Just a bit high, and unfortunately he will not go 2 for 2 on the tournament. Michael, he's just out of it. He's going to go clean this one up for a devastating quad bogey. And that is not how you want to end your tournament, but sometimes the course just gets the best of you. Travis in for par. Derek's going to go tap his in real quick and let our champion finish out with his birdie. He does so, and that's a great finish to the round for Dave. And there you have it, the 2025 La Mirada Open MP40 champion, David Jordan Bratato.
Nice meeting you, man. Good playing with you.
Congrats, man.
Always a pleasure, bud. Dude, gang soup. Thank you, bud.
That's all right.
Thanks for filming. Appreciate it. That was a fun round.
We got our
There you go.
MP40 champion, Mr. Super Dave.
Whoa! Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, thank you.
3-time in a row champion. He three-peated
Yeah.
2023, 2024, and 2025.
Yeah.
This is another one for his wall right here.
Yep, it's gonna go right there.
Hey, Roddy, you
Congratulations.
gonna take a picture
Thank
over
you
there?
guys to everyone. I love the tournament as usual. My favorite place to play for this, especially this layout. This layout was awesome, so much fun, and I'm glad the rest of the guys played left-handed and let me win because it was nice. It was fun. Thank you so much.
And that's it for our coverage. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you next time.